There is simply no easier cheesecake to make than a no-bake cheesecake. G'day, welcome to Todd's Kitchen. Who doesn't love cheesecakes, especially no-bake cheesecakes, because they're so simple to make and so delicious. Put it together with some strawberries and it's just delish. So join me today as I make my version of a no-bake strawberry cheesecake. And don't forget to check out toddskitchen.com for my fantastic merchandise. Now, it wouldn't be a cheesecake without a lovely chocolate base. So I have a packet of chocolate cookies here, but of course you can use any flavor that you like. That's really up to you. And you can use as much as you want. So if you want a thicker base, you can use more. If you want a thinner one, use less of course. Plus, it comes down to the size of your pan. But for me, for a standard pan, I'm going to use about 250 grams. And with a rolling pin, or a food processor, but I prefer a rolling pin, just let out all those frustrations and break up your cookies. Okay, so once broken up, I'm just going to place them into a bowl. And then on top of that, I'm just going to add some melted butter. And I'll leave a list of ingredients in the description below. Then just simply give it a good mix till we coat our cookies in all of that butter. And the butter is just going to work as a paste to keep that base together. So just have a standard springform pan. So just place our cookie mixture into the base. And I've also lined the base with some baking paper. So we're just going to even that out. And just with the base of a cup, spread it out even more evenly. And just simply pat it down and compacted it so it's nice and firm. And once it's all nice and packed down, we're going to place it into the fridge, give it a chance to set while we get started on the cheesecake. Okay, so next we want to soften our gelatin. So I've got about 2 tablespoons of water, and to that I'm going to add a tablespoon of gelatin and just sprinkle that in and just let that sit there for a few minutes to soak up the water, and that's going to soften up the gelatin. Okay, so while our gelatin is softening up, I have a pot on the stove on a medium heat. So to that I'm going to add about 1 pound or 450 grams of strawberries. Now I'm using frozen strawberries, it's just more economical for this amount, but you can use fresh if you like. Then to that I'm going to add a 1/4 cup of sugar, followed by a tablespoon of vanilla extract. And basically we're just going to cook this over this medium heat until the strawberries are nice and soft. So it should take about 5 minutes, give or take. Okay, so once our strawberries have softened up, now there are a couple ways to do this. I want to puree these strawberries, so I'm going to use an immersion blender, but you can also take them out and put them into a blender. And we just want to give them a good blend, good puree, until we get up to a nice fine consistency. So just break it up as much as you possibly can. Okay, with our strawberries all nicely blended, we're going to place in our softened gelatin mixture. And of course, while still over the medium heat, just whisk it in until it's well combined. And once the gelatin is combined, just take it off the heat to cool down before we get started on the rest of the cheesecake. But before we get started on the cheesecake, we're just going to pour in enough to make up 3/4 of a cup. So this 3/4 of a cup we're going to keep aside for a different part of the cheesecake, but the rest that's in the pot we're going to use in the cheesecake itself. Okay, so now for the cheesecake. Into a mixing bowl I'm going to place in 1 pound or 450 grams of softened cream cheese, followed by 1/2 cup of powdered or icing sugar and a teaspoon of vanilla extract. And on low speed we're going to beat this up for a few minutes until it's well combined and nice and creamy. Okay, once it's nice and creamy, I'm just going to pour in 1/2 cup of whipping cream or double cream. And just let that completely mix through. Okay, once all nice and creamy and well combined, next we're going to pour in our strawberry puree. And don't forget we have put aside 3/4 of a cup. So keep that aside while we pour in our puree. And again, beat on a low until everything is well combined. And doesn't that look delicious? Okay, so I've taken our base out of the fridge, so we're just going to pour on our strawberry cheesecake mixture. Okay, so we're going to place this into the fridge for about an hour just to firm up a little bit, just so we can create a nice firm top to place on our strawberry topping. Okay, so I've taken our cheesecake out of the fridge. Now we're going to pour on the remaining strawberry puree. Now as a tip, it does harden a bit while it's waiting, but just simply do what I did, put it in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and it's back to a liquid. So we're just going to pour it over the top of our cheesecake. And I'm just going to work it just so it's covering the top like so. And you can leave it as is, but I've also cut up some fresh strawberries into halves. So I'm just going to simply place those in right now before the gelatin sets firm, just for that little bit of extra pizzazz. Okay, so once done, all we have to do now is simply place it into the fridge for another couple of hours to completely set. And there we have our very easy, very simple, no-bake strawberry cheesecake. Made with real and delicious strawberries. Made with that very creamy cream cheese and that delicious chocolate cookie base. This is a fantastic dessert to have when you're having friends over. In moderation, it's great for desserts after dinner. But no matter the occasion or when you have it, either way, whenever you do have it, every single time, I guarantee it's going to taste simply delish.